Live.
Hi!
We are telling your followers that you've started a live video. So, say hi.
Hello. Hi, people.
Daryl joined. Yeah, we got people.
Live Instagram.
We got people. Other people are joining.
Hello, joining people.
A bunch of people are on.
We're out in the
So,
elements
we
right
got
now.
a woohoo hi from Maggle Paggle.
Hi, Maggle Paggle. Oh, I know who that is. Hi.
Maggle Paggle. Doug the Boon says, "You know I'd be here." Lots of love. Lots of love from Argentina from Seba Divop.
Aw.
I would love to know where people are from.
Okay.
Tell us that.
I will tell you. Please put where you're from in your question.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not being answered. Berlin says hi. Daniel
Hi, Berlin.
Zillman says Berlin.
Who?
From Berlin. Somebody from Berlin.
Hi.
Hot Wheels 1343. Can't wait for Friday.
Nice.
It's a Rudy says, "Hey gals, how have rehearsals been going? Let's talk about rehearsals."
All right. I'm going surprisingly well. Easy.
Yeah.
Like we never stop.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
A couple of holds we had to fill in, you know. Muscle memory's funny. You remember like chunks of stuff, and then you kind of forget random little sections, and you have to remind yourself. But that's been fun too. Just kind of like, what did I write here? Why did we do this? Oh, this is fun. So overall, super good.
Yeah. I have found that if I don't think about it and I disassociate, then I remember it. If I think about it, no chance.
Yeah.
Zero.
Karina, this question is for you. It's not dance hall specific, so I hope that's okay. But are you featured in any No Use for a Name songs? Did you do any vocals for them?
I did, but we're going to focus on dance on Crash today. You can find that
Question.
on this thing called the internet.
Internet will tell you.
Yes.
Let's see here. We miss you in Hawaii.
Ah, we miss you too.
Did you guys ever record Don't Call?
No, except for on the live DVD. That's the only place it is.
Okay, live DVD. You two look so good, just so you know.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hi from Burrito, Humboldt County. How much will we hear from the old record on June 9th?
June 9th.
I don't
there's
think you have
no
a show on June 9th,
Yeah.
so
No,
So-
June, nothing on the night.
Yeah. Whatever you play in your bedroom is what you'll hear from the old record
But
on June 9th. But
6 and 7. I
Yeah.
feel like we have a good cross section of all the records.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we try to keep
Totally.
some things, few in from each album.
yeah.
is Elyse going to be able to remember the words to Shelley?
Absolutely not. No chance.
All right, noted.
We have messed up every song.
Okay.
Will Elyse remember the lyrics to all of the songs?
Will Karina.
Will Karina. And you know the interesting thing about forgetting lyrics is if one of us messes up
Yes.
a lyric, the other one just has to follow
Yeah.
whatever damn verse we're on,
Yeah.
right? And so that's another like tricky piece to harmonies and singing together. I go off on my own tangent of some other verse that's not happening, and she's got to be paying attention and come along with.
And you know, we give each other dirty looks like that's not the right verse. And
But
then,
like you're already in it.
yeah,
you're
then you
in
have
the
to
wrong
go
verse.
Yeah,
So, you know.
I can't change. We can't change midstream, right? And then, of course, you got some. It used to be that you'd have like the front row
Yeah.
giving us those looks, like you're on the wrong verse.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
It will happen.
How it goes.
Yeah.
Are you coming to the East Coast? Somebody asks.
We are discussing it. Where is said person from?
I assume the East Coast, but I don't.
mean,
They
that
didn't
was a good
say.
context clue.
They
But,
didn't
like, where on the
say.
East Coast?
Where on the East Coast are you from? 86 Johnny K.
Okay.
We'll circle back to that. Are you any UK shows in the works? That's another question.
Not in the works as of this moment.
Okay. Let's see. I only Wicked Wishes Halloween. I only ever saw you once or twice, but you were my favorite. Come back to Long Island, New York.
Okay, I work for Long Island.
One vote for Long Island. Go see Gregory 216 is flying out from Virginia next week for both SF shows.
Nice.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
Super sweet.
Can you do the rap from Old and Gray?
Can you?
I don't know.
Tell you what.
Medusa 50 is asking.
You do it and post it on Instagram, and we'll comment on it.
Let's see here. And then, Hot Wheels says, "Don't worry, we got your back on the lyrics."
Good.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Good.
Is there any special guests coming out on the 6th?
No.
Y'all are the special guests.
Yeah,
Indeed.
exactly.
Let's see here. You inspire me. I can't wait to take my daughter to see you in Anaheim. It's really sweet.
That'll be fun.
Will the sets be different for both shows next week?
There are some songs that are different from the Friday and Saturday. There is a fly like manhandling my coffee. It's gross. Okay.
They are different. They're different lineup of songs, orders, and a few different things for each night.
Any plans to sing State of Mind?
No.
We've
Okay.
never sung that. I don't think we've ever played that live.
No.
Yeah,
Let's-
just saying. Yeah.
Will there be any horns for the live show?
No.
Okay. Any plans for what? Yeah, that's done. Let's see. Hello from Tennessee. Flying to see your show next Saturday. Let's see. How has Elyse's time at Warner affected the way you look at DHC's career?
Ooh,
That's a deep one.
sassy question.
I know it's a sassy question. I think, how you interact with your world as a grown adult woman versus how you interact with the world as an 18, 20, 23, 24-year-old is very different, period. So I think, I look back with a lot of pride, right, of how much fun we had. And I think it's great. I think it was a really cool, interesting time where a lot of indie bands were getting signed by majors, and when we first got signed, it was to 510, which is a punk label, like in the Bay Area. It was Green Day and Jawbreakers managers, and everything was cool, and they did a JV with MCA, and then MCA bought the label, dropped everybody else, kept us, and then we got sort of sucked into this new world that we hadn't really signed up for.
Nope.
So it was definitely a big a journey, but I think that there was a ton of great fun that came out of that. But like, would I handle it differently today than I did when I was 23? Of course. I think you could say that about just about anything.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Do you have any plans to write new music? Greg Dixon is asking. He didn't say where he's from, so you don't have to answer it. That's
Yeah, you have to say where you're from. Not right now.
You both look beautiful.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
There's a bunch of those. There's a bunch of I miss you
Thanks,
so
thanks.
much. Vegas is having a big, massive ska wave right now. In case you didn't know, does
It's also having a massive heat wave, so maybe.
yeah, any Midwest day, any other Midwest shows besides Riot Fest? One person wants to know. I assume they're from the Midwest. Let's see.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
Such a good weekend. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Riot Fest. Just come to Riot Fest.
I mean, that's crazy. That's a crazy weekend. So cool.
Let's see. My last DHC concert was in '99. I was pregnant, and now my 25-year-old is happy you're touring again.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's see. What made you want to play together again? I'm so excited. I'm from Nova Scotia. Never got to see you play live, but I'll be there next week.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so I think a few of us have kids who have never seen us play and have been asking to see us play for many years. So I think part of it was the grind of the kids asking, but also I think that's cool. I love that they're so into it and want to see it, So I think there's that. We also, there wasn't ever any reason for us not to be playing together. We've all been friends this whole time and get along really well. So it was also sort of like this beautiful sort of confluence of events where, Kevin Lyman, came back in really strong on this year's Warped Tour, and, we started talking about it. And our thing is always like, does it sound fun? And if something doesn't sound fun, we don't do it. Like, that's how we've always been, And this one sounded like it was going to be really fun, and we could see so many old friends, that we haven't seen in a long time, and so many bands that we love. So we just thought it would be fun.
Yeah. And we were all able to sort of make the time for it because we're spread out now, so it's been harder for the last 10, 15 years, and I think everyone's in a good place to make it happen. So it was perfect timing. Yeah.
Chris Busterlid asks, have y'all done any writing for any other artists?
I think Jason did a little writing for for a Bite Me Bambi song, but I write my own music separately. I do my own stuff, so I think, you know, we've all sort of, different people in the band have guested on different things. I think there's a lot of, you know, you can find that out. We've all done a little bit of that.
What was the story behind Shelley?
Karina?
No, you wrote that one. I guess we're going to pass on that one.
Okay, pass it
I didn't
on
write
Shelley.
that one.
Oh. I'm just reading questions, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on here. I'm from Anaheim. Okay. My wife Karen says hi to Karina.
Hi. Who says hi to me?
That my wife Karen, Carin.
Hi, Karen.
It's a Rudy says hi to Karina.
Hi.
Not to you, Elyse, but
Oh,
just to
to
Karina.
you.
Excuse you.
Will Cricket make the set list in SF?
No.
Have you guys been pretty close throughout the break?
Yeah.
I think always, but you know, there was definitely like windows of time we didn't get to catch up very much, and so you know, it's distance. We don't all live in the same city, so that's always hard too. And you know, families, kids, work. Everyone's pretty busy with their regular lives too. So like we all have lots of things going on. So it's not fully all the time, but in 20 years we've always been in contact. So.
Let's see. How do you perceive the evolution of ska punk since your last performances?
I actually think there's a lot of really cool bands right now. I love Catbite. I love the Interrupters. I love the Agrolites. Hepcat is, you know, always been one of my top number one bands. After the Specials, it's going to be Hepcat always, and they've continued on, you know, through some really hard stuff, and they're still around. And so those are my top favorites right now. But you know, Suicide Machines are still awesome. I love the Flatliners. There's a lot of great bands right now. It's been cool to watch actually.
All right, let's see. Can't wait for Warped Tour Long Beach. Are you gonna play with Less Than Jake?
I don't think we're on any shows with them right now.
I think they're doing DC Warped, aren't they?
Are they?
I might have made that up.
I think maybe.
I
Potentially
think
made that up.
I kind of think you're right though.
I think so. And
Okay.
I think we will try to. I was talking to Chris about that. Like
Yeah, we love them.
that would be awesome. There's there's nothing booked at the moment, but aspirationally, yes.
Excellent. All right, let's see here. A lot of comments here. Bite Me Bambi for sure. Let's see. Can you play Please Don't Look Away off the Japanese release of Purr?
Probably
not. Yeah, probably not.
It's kind of a slow song for a live show.
Okay, this is Mickey from SF.
Hi, Mickey.
I haven't gotten to meet you. Okay, wait. What was your process for choosing your opening bands for these shows? I assume.
Well, Small Crush is the band that's playing with us on Saturday, right? And they are Jason's daughter is in Small Crush, and it's her band. She's the lead person, and she writes most music, and she's awesome, and the band is awesome, and I think that was like one of the big reasons we all got back together to play these shows was so that everyone's kids could see the shows in the first place, and so it just felt like keep it in the family. We love that, and so that's been the main thing. And
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's all like friends and family, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody that's playing with us, we've known for a long time. Like Hepcat, we've been friends with for 30 years. You know, like really, really close friends.
Exactly. Like we did our second U.S. tour with Hepcat, and so we have lots of like fun memories of that time, and they've been family basically ever since. So
yeah,
that's how we did it.
Will any Blue Plate special make the set in SF?
I think there is one song. That we played. Yeah.
Truly Comfortable.
Yeah.
How was
We're giving it away.
Giving it away. Oh no. How is your friendship with the guys from Blink 182?
Good. I mean, I have not seen. When did I see Mark last? It's been a few years since I have seen Mark, but we have kept in touch. I have not talked to Tom in a long time in travels, but Mark's book, if you have not read it, is really good. He wrote a book that came out a couple weeks ago, and it is awesome.
And I haven't seen any of them in a while, but I did run into kind of each one of them actually just like randomly on stuff that I was doing with no effects. Like, it'd be like, you know, festival or something like that. So it's been a while though. I haven't gotten to see them in a while.
What song are you most excited to play live next week, if there is one?
No, I don't have one favorite.
I know it's hard. That's hard to
Yeah,
pick.
so many children. Your songs. You can't pick favorites.
They'll get mad.
Other
They'll
than
get
the
mad
ones
at
that
you.
we don't want to play. Yeah, those are not our favorites.
I actually do love singing "Truth About Me." I have to say, I'm gonna throw that one in there as a one that I do love to do. It's really fun.
It's a fun one to sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you guys play with Goldfinger in a future show? Would you? Sounds hypothetical.
Yeah, potentially.
I think it
Like
sounds
John. Still
fun.
talk to John.
That'll be
Sure.
great. Will we hear the truth about me on Friday?
Yes. Or yes.
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 Okay. Let's see. Jeff from Cupertino. Who is the second guitarist for these shows?
We have the amazing John Graber, who is playing with No Effects and helping us with sound as well and tech for No Effects. But also is just a killer musician and great guitar and ska guitar player. And he would come up and play with No Effects, and he's kind of the perfect fit because he knows the music really well. He's badass, he's brilliant, and he fits in the band super well. So he's coming up and playing some songs. So yeah, super nice.
Monica from Anaheim just wanted to say I love you and I've missed you so much.
Aww.
Okay, let's see. This is I've always considered. This is from the real Davy Jones.
Ooh.
I don't have a location on this guy yet.
So it's not David Bowie.
But anyway, I've always considered Nothing Left to Say as a reply to Mark's Blink song Apple Shampoo. Is this true or all in my head?
Next.
All right. Fave band to tour with?
Ooh. I mean, definitely Have Cat was fun.
No Effects.
Of course, No Effects was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a different context now, but it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
Because of all the obvious reasons, they're super funny.
They're hilarious.
Oh yeah. Non-stop.
I like it. Did Elyse get a haircut recently to match the band's regular for the shows? I don't know, it's weird wording.
I have had this haircut since I was 5, and I'm not kidding. Legitimately, I am not kidding. I did grow my bangs out for about 1 year, and then I cut them again. So in my lifetime, I think I was like 31, and I was just like went crazy for a year, and I'm like, no, can't do
So
it.
wild of you. Just
I was wild.
a rebel.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Kyle from Colorado.
Hi, Kyle.
Sounds like Kyle's coming to SF. Recommendations for someone's first time in SF.
Ooh.
Love you both. Super excited.
Steer
Food-
clear of the
food, coffee.
Tenderloin generally, except for come see our shows, and that's okay right there on the edge of the Tenderloin. Recommendations. Depends on what you like to do. Go to the beach if you get a chance. Ocean Beach is super beautiful. Mandalay is one of my favorite Burmese restaurants. I don't know. Dress in layers. There you go. That's it. That's my tourist.
It's going to be colder than you expect.
Yeah. It's always cold in San
I
Francisco.
make that mistake every time still.
Gets windy. Cold.
Is there any covers next week that we've never seen live?
No.
Best ska. I feel like you already covered this. Best ska bands today from the new generation. I feel like you already talked about that. Let's go to the next one. Do you have any good Tony Sly stories that you could share?
Well, I will just, you can think of a story maybe, but I will just say he was incredibly funny. I don't know if everybody knows that about him, but he
really
was
funny.
really funny. And he had, his mom is English. I think actually both of his parents are British, which I grew up in England, so once I knew that, it kind of made sense because it's kind of a similar sort of like East Coast or English side kind of sense of humor, and he was really funny. We had a lot of fun. Actually, that's another band we had a lot of fun with on tour. There was a lot of jokes and laughs and just any stories and everything.
I mean, I don't have a Tony story, but in New Orleans on that tour, when Matt jumped off a speaker or something and broke his leg, and we were in the hospital, and it was like a third world hospital. It was the craziest situation I have ever seen in the United States.
And then he had to play for like the rest of the tour with like a totally messed up knee.
Yeah, but I think they actually put like a board on his leg to keep it from moving while he waited. It It was unbelievable.
Just trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Jumped off the speaker.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oops. Let's see. As a band, do you have a favorite song to warm up to?
I like warming up to Cold Shower just because it's a nice mid-tempo, good vocal warm-up song. That's one of my favorites.
Buried Alive, another
Not
good,
good for
easy,
me. For you,
easy warm up.
not easy for me. It's super high.
Angela from Hawaii said, had tons of fun on Karina's Punk Rock Museum guided tour. Will Elyse do one?
Probably not.
Hi, Angela. See you next week. See you this week.
But I do love that. I mean, I'm excited about that museum, and I love Mike.
Let's see. Here's a question about harmonies. Will you do the harmonies like? It's a little weird. Like then, or are you doing changes to surprise your fans?
Ooh. Not really changes because
No, I think like then.
yeah, because otherwise you have to rewrite everything.
And they were cool then.
Yeah, I find them super interesting going back. You know, I still sing a lot and sing a lot of harmonies with other people just in general, and so like it's kind of fun to go back and go, oh, that was interesting.
Yeah.
That was a cool. You know, there's times when I'm singing higher in a section of a song and then I drop lower than Elise's part or something, and so I think that's really interesting, fun stuff. And as a bit of a vocal nerd that I am, I love that kind of stuff. So we're not changing.
All right.
So good.
How? I'm going to edit this question just a little bit to make it slightly more interesting. But take us through your first rehearsals as y'all were after you announced and knew you were going to do these shows.
Well, we actually rehearsed before we confirmed with Kevin for Warped to make sure that it sounded good, right? Because we hadn't played together in 20 years, and so wanted to make sure that it was going to be awesome if we came back. And I think we were all really pleasantly surprised at how easy it was, like all things considered. So that was great.
Yeah.
And Karina and I know were both shocked that we remembered words. I was.
Yeah.
I forget words just on a normal day.
Yeah.
Right. So that was cool. Just muscle memory kicked in and just happens. So that's good.
And Elyse and I kind of did a little, get together before even getting together with the guys, just for that reason. Like, can we still do it? Do we still have, enough of the memory of it? And then it was coming back so much faster than we thought, and all the parts, like I said, because sometimes they do get pretty intricate what we're doing. So just to make sure that are we gonna, be able to get all that back. So
No, it was good. And there were like, I mean, I hadn't listened to our songs in a really long time, and there are things where you listen to, you go, wow, that is cool.
Yeah.
Right.
There's certain
Like,
sections you're like, what?
Yeah. I know. Then we have to stop and listen to like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Okay, let's see. What are your favorite things and what do you admire most about each other?
Ooh, that's cute.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's cute.
cute.
Karina, you go first.
Okay. I love Elise's very strong person and a strong woman, and I personally appreciate that very much. I do. I think that's super important, and I think that's something that we tried to sort of bring to this band and bring to the stage. For me, that's always been an important thing, watching, female musicians, but also just like dealing with this whole industry, this whole, especially when we were younger, was pretty male-centric, and it was a little tough, and I think that we kind of are both good at kind of facing that sort of thing, and I love that about Elyse. That's one thing that she's a tough lady in a good way, strong, and lots of things, very loyal, great taste, great cook, lots of things. There you go, that's one thing.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh dear.
No, I think like super warm.
Oh.
Like really, really like lovely, warm human. And I love that about you. And I think that I don't think that it would be as easy to be in a band with another woman or girl that wasn't like a girl's girl like we both are.
Totally.
Right? So I think that's like one of the things that made this work is we both like have each other's backs so intensely, like regardless of anything else that's going on in the world or in our lives, you know. And I think that it's not always easy to find such like, you know, kind of like a rock solid, you know, relationship like that. So I think we got super fortunate with each other, you know, just from a human angle.
Right.
And I think also just really lucky, just vocally, that our voices work so well together.
Yeah.
You know? So she's, you know, closest thing I have to a sister.
Yeah.
You know?
I do feel like the first time we sang together was sort of like, oh, this just like, it just clicked.
Yeah.
It worked. Like our phrasing, you know, wasn't hard to match up. You know, I have different way of singing sometimes, and like just to try to like kind of lock in together was not hard. And especially even first time we ever recorded anything, which was Keep On Running, was the first song we did together, and we did it at the same time, which not everybody does, on a mic for the old record. And I just remember being like, hey, that sounds good. Like we have it together. It's like that was a really fun feeling, like just to hear it like that.
No, we are strangely locked in vocally.
Yeah.
And even, you know, even just on stage, just like we watch each other a lot. Like I'm looking at her all the time because we need to be completely in sync, right? So
once in a while we give each other the scared look, like, what is that next lyric? And everyone's like,
yeah.
There's a couple, you know, we got our little.
Okay, so this is a good segue question from Jay the Punk 86. Does playing these songs again make you feel the same as back in the day, or is it a different feeling?
Good question.
That's a good question.
For me, it's been a trip a little bit to come back to some of those lyrics. There's definitely moments where I'm like, oh yes, that's who I wrote that about, which is pretty funny. To jump back 20 years and be like, I hated that dude, or whatever. Something funny like that. There'll be like moments from like, oh my god, that's who I wrote that about. So there's moments where I don't feel like I have to kind of remind myself of like how I was feeling when we wrote them or when we were singing them. So there's that, and then there's other ones that are just kind of feel more timeless. You know, like they're sort of like, yeah, like certain ones like for me like Catfight or Truth About Me, like they're snarky, they're funny, but they're also like things that I still believe and or want to say or something like that. So a little bit of both.
I'm just going to a time warp. It feels exactly the same.
Does it?
I'm just in a time warp. Yeah.
How did you both meet?
Through your brother.
Yes.
Through Cuba.
Yeah. My younger brother is just a year younger than me. Cuba was friends with people in dance hall crashers, and you know, it was like this whole big scene in the Bay Area. And he heard from somebody in the band that they were looking for another singer, and he was like, "My sister sings." Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, ska. I know. That's my thing. I love ska." So yeah, it was great.
Cool. Let's see. Does Drew Carey still have the giant "Honey, I'm Homely" painting he made?
Do not know what we're talking about.
I have a vague memory of what
Zeffie's Wind. You'll need to clarify. Did he have like a painting prop like on the Drew Carey show?
I have a vague memory of what you're talking about, but not enough to respond to that question properly because that sounds familiar.
Well, maybe he'll clarify.
Yeah, maybe.
Let us know what you're talking about. Sounds interesting.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can you film rehearsals so the folks that can't make a show can see you all play again?
Probably not.
Yeah, film rehearsals?
Yeah.
I mean, why rehearsals as opposed to the real show, right?
I think they are doing.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. So for DC, Warped is doing a live stream. I think it's on Amazon. I don't know if we can say it either, but we just did.
All right.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Maybe you can see that.
Warped is. You didn't hear it here.
Yeah. Don't tell the rest of it.
Let's see. Is there a song? Oh, I guess you already answered this. Is there a song you ladies are looking forward to singing live again the most?
I think that someone asked that
I think
earlier.
somebody did that
yes,
earlier, right?
answered it.
Yeah, I
There's
think
an
so.
update.
You haven't changed your mind in the last.
No.
Okay. Well, let's see. I mean, there's still quite a few people on here hanging out. There's not. I'm waiting for more. I'm making for more questions, but we're at 30 minutes.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. We'll wait for any last minute ones, but I think we're all good.
See you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.